Hello, welcome back. In this video, we are going to learn HTTP response and its status code. There are 5 kinds of status code exist in the HTTP request and response. Here, as we can see, the first kind of is information, which denotes as 1XX. For example, 100 means continue. The second kind of is successful, denoted as 2XX. For example, 200 means OK, and we saw in the last video. And the third type is that redirection, denoted as 3XX. For example, 202 means the directed page has been founded. And the fourth kind of is client error, denoted as 4XX. For example, 404 means that the page is not found. And I think you saw this code before if you have paid attention to that. And the last kind of is that server error, denoted as 5XX. For example, 500 means external server error. You do not have to remember all those kind of status code, but you should know the typical kind of status code. For example, 200 means OK, and 404 means the page is not found, etc. You can refer more the detail from this link. As you can see here, it's have very detailed explanation over here. And I'm not going to read this page live online. You can read it by yourself. And in fact, you do not have to remember all those kind of status code, as I said. And here in this video, I'm going to show you how we can get the status code with use Python library. So here I'm going to create another Python 3 notebook. And I'm going to say this is a to and response. Now the first kind of is, let's try to success type. So the first one is we're going to say 1 and successful. So here we select this as markdown and run it. And now let's try to import the requests library. Now let's run it. Okay. And now let's define the URL. We'll still use the HTTP bin.org. So we're going to define over here so that we do not have to type the whole URL every time. HTTP bin.org. And here we're going to say HTML, maybe. And then response is equal to requests and get, and we pass the URL to this get method. And then let's try to print the response code or status code, whatever you call response code. And here we're going to say response dot status code. And let's try to run it. Alright, as you can see, it says 200, which means success. Now let's try another type, is that let's try to send a get request to a page which not exists. So here we're going to say not found, maybe, yes. And we still choose markdown over here, and then we just copy it. Maybe we just change the value of the URL, make it it's not existing. Maybe I just add several X over here. As you can see, the page is not exist, so the response code is 404. Now let's try the redirection, maybe 3. And here we're going to say redirection. And here I'm going to choose markdown over here, and I'm still copy this segment code over here, and we will change a little bit as we did in the last video. We're going to send a request to the redirect resource or folder. Redirect to, right? So we need to give parameters. So we'll say parameters is here. We just give it a URL as we did in the last video. Here we say URL, and the redirect target page is https and www.bean.com. Now we will add another parameter over here. Parameters equals to our parameters over here. Now let's try to print the status code over here. Or maybe we also should print its content. To confirm, we have already redirected the www.bean.com. So we will print the response.text. Right. Maybe I'm going to print this in the next cell. We can add it to the next cell. All right, let's run this cell first. As you can see, we have already successfully redirected the Bean. And let's try to print the response code. Here, as you can see, it says 200. Actually, this response code is not from the original http.org. In fact, it's from the bean.com. So what if we want to get the previous status code or response code? Here, actually, we can confirm furthermore by print its URL. Here, maybe we can say the URL and its URL. As you can see, the URL is actually from the www.bean.com. So if we want to get the previous request status code and URL, we can do it this way. We can print all the history request. Actually, sometimes we can redirect it several times. For example, if this www.bean.com support a redirection function, it can still redirection to another web page. So it could be a chain redirection. So here we just have one redirection, but we can print them out by this way, even you have more than one redirection. So we say response and get its history. Now let's try to print the yes, I just copy this code to save some type. We're going to replace this response. Now let's try to see what we will get. As you can see, the redirection status code has been founded, and which was 302, and the original URL is this one with the parameter is www.bean.org over here. Okay, that's all for our response and its status code. And see you next video.